I called Lola McAvoy to make her maiden speech.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and it is customary to pay tribute to the Speaker before me for his first contribution to this House, but let's face it, that is quite a polished contribution that he's had 21 years to prepare, so thank you to him for that contribution. This is my maiden speech as the first woman to represent Darlington from the government benches. I'd like to pay tribute to Baroness Chapman, the first female MP for Darlington, for paving the way. She smashed that glass ceiling, and now I have the privilege of serving our town in a Labour government. Representation matters, and I will use my platform to highlight the issues facing women in the town. Issues like low-paid work, additional care responsibilities, the childcare crisis, menopause discrimination, maternity services, poor paternity rights, and I will be a champion for women's health and support services. I'd like to pay tribute to the work of our Police Crime Commissioner, my friend Joy Allen, and her team in ending violence against women and girls in the town, and to Harbour and Family Help, who do exceptional work in very difficult times. I am proud that this Labour government will bring forward strong legislation to tackle this important issue. I'd like to pay tribute to my predecessor, firstly, Peter Gibson, firstly for his respect throughout the general election campaign, and secondly for his work ethic. Trust in politicians across both sides of this House is at an all-time low, and Mr Gibson worked tirelessly to communicate positively the work he was doing to everyone in Darlington. People thanked him for it, and it's something that I will emulate. I genuinely do wish him well. I'm a product of my constituency and proud of it. I'm from good stock. West End star Zoe Burkett of Pop Idol fame went to my high school. Big Brother winner and men's mental health campaigner Anthony Hutton is a Darlington resident, and we have a proud and active veterans community. In fact, two of the brilliant doorkeepers who are just stationed over there of this chamber told me earlier that they know Darlington well because of their training at Catterick Garrison, just outside my constituency. I want to thank Dan Smith, an active campaigner for veteran support in Darlington, for his work for our town, but also for his friendship to me during the campaign. We have a bustling business and hospitality community across the town. Dan the Baker Man, whose sourdough is nationally acclaimed. The Echo 3 and Hatch coffee houses, who keep me caffeinated. And Claire from the Cheese and Wine Shop, who herself welcomed our Prime Minister and Chancellor very recently. We have a brilliant sporting community, from Spray Lads football team, which my brother used to play for, to the Headlanders netball and the Hundons Lane Bowls clubs, to name just a few. Of course, it would be remiss of me not to mention the Quakers, Darlington's football club, who has a very famous alumni in Three Lions' best ever goalkeeper, Jordan Pickford. So, like many of us from Darlington, I love the town, I like a laugh, I work hard, and I don't like to be taken for a fool. I was sent here to right the wrongs that have led to too many in our town being let down, and I will do just that. I will not lose sight of those who sent me and went above and beyond to put their time and trust in me. My teachers, the St Augustine's community, my Labour family, and of course my parents, my brothers and my husband, all of whom have had their personal lives thrust right into my political story, not entirely through choice, but in the name of our common goal, which is a better future for our community. I'm lucky to be here. I got a second chance and a vocational master's degree at Newcastle University, where I was taught on the job how to be a journalist. I come from a long line of people who've done better for themselves than was expected for them, and I will dedicate my time in Parliament to knocking down barriers to opportunity for everyone in our town, so that no matter your postcode, you can live the life you want well. I was inspired by those who went before me on our brilliant Northern Echo paper, founded in 1870, 2 years after the constituency of Darlington, and still boasting fantastic campaigning journalists like Chris Lloyd, the town's historian, who I'm giving a mention in this speech so that he will help me with my new blue plaque scheme for the town, and Kaylee Fraser, who I'm sorry, Kaylee, I know you're still chasing me for a quote. This Saturday just gone, I had the joy of visiting a new tourist attraction in Darlington, Hope Town. Named after the area of the town that I grew up in, where Darlington's famous contribution to the railways and industrial revolution was based. The new attraction incorporates our railway heritage and has incredible artefacts and top-of-the-range art installations digital interactive educational points to tell our story to visitors. I'm telling you this because I welcome everyone on both sides of the house to come and visit, and when you do, you must try the Black Diamond ice cream. It's already taking off on social media. I have huge pride in the town's industrial contribution, and I'm delighted to be the first Darlington member to represent Hindon and Coniscliffe, and with them come their beautiful villages and even more railway history. Mr Deputy Speaker, this is for you to note especially. I learnt something new about my hometown this weekend. Before the establishment of the railways, our clocks were not standardised, and Darlington operated a full 4 minutes behind Westminster. So as those who know me well will attest, I like to operate still on Darlington time, and as a nod to tradition, I shall be keeping my town's original time for the duration of my time on these benches. One of the artefacts that caught my eye in the museum, amongst the railway medals and the framed timetables, was an award from 2019 for the manufacturing giant Cleveland Bridge. Like so many brilliant companies over recent years, Cleveland Bridge has ceased trading. What makes this company particularly of note is their vast global contribution. They built the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and in fact, former Health Secretary and Labour Darlington MP, the Right Honourable Alan Milburn, referenced them in his maiden speech 2 decades ago. I am determined that our manufacturing contribution in Darlington is not committed to museums and history books. We are proud people and we are grafters. We do not need handouts. We need a government that allows our brilliance to shine again. I have already had the excellent engineering firm come into Parliament to discuss making our area a green hydrogen cluster and ensuring hydrogen is at the heart of our decarbonisation strategy. I look forward to working with my neighbour, the member for Stockton North, an expert in green hydrogen and the future of steel in his new brief. Over the course of the campaign that led up to my election, the biggest thread from the people of Darlington, from all income, background and political persuasion, was that the cost of living was too high and that public services are at breaking point. I do firmly believe that this government must urgently tackle the mental health crisis blighting our town and region. In my own network, I know 7 men who've died by suicide. Mental health waiting times and services for men, mothers, children and veterans are way behind where they need to be. I will be relentless in my approach to improve our mental health services for everyone in our town. The Secretary of State for Health, who I know shares my passion for mental health and physical health equity, will not be able to avoid me just as soon as I can work my way around the palace labyrinth. As a woman in politics, I'm frequently offered unsolicited advice and told that I need a thick skin, although I firmly believe that those with too thick a skin have been ruling this chamber for too long. And I am here to represent ordinary people with compassion because I am one of them. I am only too aware of the emboldening effect that online platforms gives bullies and harassers, and I do think we've reached a fork in the road. I will use my position to stamp out online bullying, not just for those who are victims of it now, but for the next generation who I believe we have a duty to protect. This Labour government are committed to tackling climate change and wealth creation, and that is an opportunity for our region that must be grabbed with both hands. That's why I've already visited Hitachi with my neighbour and friend, the member for Newton Aycliffe and Spennymoor, to put my full support behind efforts to secure the future of skilled and essential jobs at the Newton Aycliffe plant that employs many of my constituents. The Treasury and many other key departments have a presence in my constituency, providing skilled graduate jobs, which we welcome and want to build on. I will be a champion for public money being spent better. I have made my career improving public procurement contracts, fighting for working people to earn a wage they can live on and have decent terms and conditions. I will use this experience to ensure that when public money is spent in Darlington, it provides the best possible bang for our buck in income, in impact and outcomes for our town. I will be a loud voice on this issue and will work with everyone and anyone who believes, like I do, that we can get our regional economy thriving with decent jobs for local people, so that people can work hard, earn enough to save for their future and have safe and secure housing and spend quality time with their families. I am very fortunate that the Chancellor will be visiting her second office in Darlington regularly, and I am committed to maximising the opportunity that brings to benefit my community. My constituency and everyone in it has the potential for a bright future. I'll do everything I can to secure it. While I want to make our country better, my priority is improving the lives of those in my hometown, those who raised me, those who've sent me here, the good people of Darlington. So, in keeping with my railway theme, full steam ahead.
Before calling the next